Yeah, g'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you've all been well. So today I am heading off up onto the central coast to chase a little bit of autumn. I feel so out of beat with autumn this year. Look, we are in Australia, so you know, it's an evergreen country, and the little pockets of autumn that we do have, majority of them line the streets or people's driveways. You know, we obviously have them in people's front yards and stuff like that, but there's no way in hell you're going to catch me going and photographing trees in people's front yards. I'm sure nobody wants to come out and see a middle-aged man standing out in front of their house with a camera. Or do they? Nah, seriously. Yeah, so up to the central coast, I am going to photograph one where the trees line the streets. It's one I stumbled across on just last week. Now, when I stumbled across on it last week, it was still in prime condition. Autumn though, you know, it's one of them things where a little bit of wind or a bit too much rain and those trees will strip out bare really quickly. You know, unfortunately, I do work a day job, so I've had to work all week and wait for the weekend to come up before I head on up here. So fingers crossed that the trees are still in, you know, a fair condition. We were also predicted to have a hell of a lot of rain over the weekend, and you know, that being said, it was pointless of me getting up at a stupid hour to head on up here to beat, you know, clear skies or for a sunrise, because it's not what I was coming up here for. Unfortunately, the weatherman has done me a dirty again, and I'm heading up, and yeah, okay, we've got some fog around, but it is predicted to be clear skies. So, well, look, they're saying it's cloudy up here at the moment, but it's predicted to be clear skies through the day. And I'm just coming up on one of the main freeways now, and although we're coming through some fog, it's definitely clear skies. So I'm going to have to be a little creative with how I photograph this area. But I'll come back to that when I'm actually up there. So on the road, be there soon enough, and fingers crossed. Yeah, so we are 21 minutes from location, and it's looking hopeful, man. There's still a lot of fog up in and around here. There's no unwanted clear blue sky. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty hopeful. But, what I was going to say before is that I went away and did, I was on the road for 11 days and did a massive road trip through western New South Wales, over and into South Australia, into the Flinders Ranges, and then across the Erie Peninsula out onto the Great Australian Bight, and then back home in through Melbourne to a few places in there. But that was throughout the Easter period, and while that sort of works for anything you see in regards to autumn on the way through, it also misses some of my usual autumn shots that I will shoot in and around my own areas. So look, when I got back, I made the choice to go up and have a look in one of the private gardens, and what I should have done was I should have headed out to a couple of streets where the poplar trees line the street, and I just didn't. So anyway, by the time I did get up to one of the private gardens the following week after that, I found that those trees were pretty much done and dusted. So yeah, I had a great trip, but at the same time, yeah, I can't but help to feel like I missed out. But look, I've shot plenty of good shots there before. Central Coast up here, autumn colours come quite a bit later. So like we're nearly at the end of autumn now, and these ones were only coming on, you know, in their peak last week. So fingers crossed there's still plenty of foliage on the trees and they're photographable. But I'll tell you what, one of the things that keeps me going and not losing interest with my journey with my adventure photography, or my photography adventures, so and that is variety. I do go to great lengths of effort to spread, to build my skill set across the board. If I was out just photographing the ocean week in, week out, I'd get burnout really quickly. I'd grow tired of it, and I wouldn't grow. Not only would I wouldn't grow, I'd get, yeah, like I said, I'd just get tired of it, and I'd end up packing it up, and it wouldn't satisfy me, it wouldn't fill me. Whereas chasing the adventures the way that I do, you know, I can be under the city lights, I can be on the sand dunes, I can be on the ocean and for coastal adventures, I can be up in the mountains, I can be out on the country soil, you know, I could be down doing a little bit of macro with some mushrooms or what have you. Yeah, and the other thing too that I really think has helped me grow a lot as well is I don't just chase sunrise or sunset. I love moody photography, and if it's raining or you got some nice big detailed storm clouds and whatnot, you know, heavy fog and things like that, I'm always chasing that. And I think it's very important too, because a lot of the time when you're just photographing sunrise and sunset, you're preying on the light to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you, in regards to the wow factor. And I think without that, you have to work a lot harder in your composition, in your location, and what, you know, specifically what you're doing. But yeah, I do enjoy the variety, and the big thing in that variety is the adventure side of it. You know, it's so good to you know, you constantly just feel like you're on a weekend holiday every single weekend in your own country, and that's just fantastic.
In 500 meters, turn right.
The thing is too is I live in a very central location, so pretty much not 60 to 90 minutes in any direction, and I can be in so many different cool places. But anyway, I'll be here in 14 or 15 minutes, So here's to fingers
Take the
crossed.
next right towards Railway Street.
Because I'm definitely remaining hopeful that this location's still good, and I can shoot this location for the first time.
In 600 metres, turn right onto Hillview Street.
Man, that was a low bridge, eh? Anyway, won't be long. We'll see how we go. Alright guys, so it's the following day from up on the Central Coast, but we've come up and into the Mount Wilson area, and we are going to go into one of the private gardens. We might even go into two of the private gardens today, but I just thought I'd do a run around the streets. We have got some blue sky up there, but we've got a lot of dappled light coming in because there's a lot of cloud up there. So like, you just wait a moment for the cloud to come over the sun, you get some nice soft dappled light in here. So anyway, there's a lot of colour in here through this little channel of trees through here, and what I've done, I've got the 16 to 35mm lens on the video camera, but I shot this scene on the 24 to 105. Now when the sun gets covered up with a bit of light, and to keep up my camera shutter speed, I had to lift the ISO a little bit and lower the f-stop, but I ended up sending Debbie out here to stand in amongst the trees, and I think the shot come up alright. But yeah, first shot up here, it was good to be able to see the place in its peak. I was getting a bit worried about missing it. It seems to be behind a week or two this year. I could be wrong, but yeah, the colours are looking good up here. So we're going to press on through the streets a little bit because it seems quiet up here at the moment. And I'll see what else we can see in the streets, if anything. And then we'll head on over into the gardens, check that out, and then I'm going to head into the forest just here and have a look at, see what we can find by way of fungi and any forest scenes while we're up here. So let's get into it. Alright, so we're just walking through this scene here, and we're actually up and in Breenhold now, so one of the private gardens. But I just noticed like this grouping of trees here with the crimson reds on this side, and we've got the mixed colours on this side, and I was able to get a little bit of balance between the two trees on either side and the other two in the back. But even though the sun's starting to get higher, we have got some cloud coming and going, even though everywhere I look at the moment is blue sky. But it is actually still backlighting this scene. So I've taken a photo. I'm not too sure. I'm one of those things where, you know, I say my old saying, this will either work or it won't. But, in theory it should work, it should look alright, so fingers crossed. But you can see you got nice, the sun's touching on the yellows in the back and on these crimson reds over here on your left. So yeah, I think it's a nice scene. Anyway, I'll put the photo up, let me know what you think of it, and we'll press on. Right, so we're just coming down one of the steps, and well, I kind of like the way the steps twist through the scene and all the foliage that's dropped on the steps and been left there. And we have a little bit of backlight coming through the crimson reds behind me. I struggled with this one though, because I tried one side over here and it didn't sweep through the scene properly, and I knew I needed to include the curvature, the way that the steps twist up and into the scene. But it didn't matter what way I put it, I just kept looking at it. I'm like, no, that's not going to work. But anyway, what I did was I put it over where you are, where you guys are now with the camera, and I have shot in a vertical format, so straight away it leads with the trees diagonally from the frame and etches your way straight in through the scene. But I don't know, it's one of them things where, like, and that's the issue here up here today. Number one, I'm always trying to find new things when I'm up here and not just shoot the same stuff over and over again. And if I do, I'm trying to shoot it differently. Otherwise I just feel like I'm staling out and there's no progression there. So it's one of them things where I've constantly going in my mind, this will either work or it won't. So it's just how it is. But when I get back home, I'll get everything up on the bigger screen, and yeah, what I'll do is I'll put in the ones that that have and the ones that haven't worked out, and you guys can be the judge on that. Just put it in the comments below on what ones you think were good and what ones you think were not so good, or the ones that worked more than the others. I always appreciate that feedback. But yeah, I did one up here without Deb in the scene. I did one with Deb in the scene. Some of these shots, it's not that you're going for a human perspective in regards to the ratio of size. It's just the human element in such a lovely place. So sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. The thing is too, up here at this time of the year, it's cold, so it's a bit hard to be in to be dressed a certain way to be in here. But me and Deb are dressed not for the gardens here today. We're going to head out and into the forest, a couple of rainforest areas after this. We'll go and have a look for some fungi and stuff. So yeah, we sort of want to be in stuff that we're not too fussed about getting mud on or anything. But anyway, we'll keep moving, and yeah, we'll see what we can find. Alright guys, so I decided to do this. Look, I'm not going to lie, this is a big part of one of the special attractions here in Breenhold Gardens. And if you're coming up and in here, you want to look for Laburnum Steps. It's down the back of the property and alongside the roadside, off the roadside, so it's not too hard to find. It's a bit disorientating when you come in here though. Oh, I know this place off the back of my hand now. But yeah, you've got this lovely curvature of steps that lead through this gorgeous scene here. And the funny thing is that deciduous trees aren't always the same colour. Sometimes they'll be a fiery orange, sometimes they'll be a yellow, sometimes they'll be a crimson red. And that depends on what that tree has to do to prepare for the season, for the coldness that it's walking into. But I'm obviously not a tree expert, so I'm not too 100% sure on how all that works. But yeah, that's what I was reading one day. And I read up on that purely because, and I can even see it here, you've got on this tree that's not turned colour yet, you've got a lot of yellows and you've also got some crimson reds coming up. So, and I have taken a photograph of this tree years ago on a portrait shoot that I did up here. And this tree here was yellow, very yellow. And then several years later, I come up and did a shot up here and this tree was bright red. So yeah, very interesting to see that. But laburnum steps, so if you come in here, definitely come and find laburnum steps. Yeah, I've taken a shot over here from where the camera is now. I've had to pick my ISO up pretty high. So look, reality of it is you do what you got to do to get the shot. And there's a bit of wind blowing in and out. And if I did shoot specifically for, let's say, the shadows and the highlights for my exposure, then what would happen today is in the wind, all these trees would be blurry and out of focus. So look, at the end of the day, I want them in focus, I want them sharp, and that means bringing up the ISO and lowering the f-stop just a little. So I shot on like f9 here, focused a third of the way into the scene, and I brought my ISO up to about ISO 800, and that brought my shutter speed up far enough that the branches weren't all blurry, so they should be relatively, in focus, or sharp, I should say. But yeah, anyway, same as always, these two trees up the back, the crimson reds and oranges and the yellows in the back usually always come first, unfortunately. I did get a shot a few years ago where everything was in colour, but generally most years, this tree is the last tree to turn colour. And by the time this one turns colour, these two ones in the back have almost lost their leaves. So, I was just saying to Deb before when we were coming through here, don't you wish if you could just come in here and everything is just all at the same time, or all perfect? But I guess that's half the beauty of it. That's nature, and it's also an opportunity to keep coming back. I think too also, if you are interested in chasing as much of autumn as you can with those colours, it's not a bad thing to be coming back and back and back. The more you get out, the more you're learning. And like, that's the best way to learn, is to put yourself out in the field and just keep going and shooting and shooting and shooting. If I had a look at my photos from years ago when I first got into photography to now, the progression's amazing. And you definitely look back at some of your prior work and have a cringe. So, and that's not to say that everything I do is good, because it's not. Sometimes I get home, look at things on the big screen, and go, "What on earth were you thinking?" And it's just garbage. But at the time you had an idea, and some things just look better to the naked eye than they do on screen. So that is what it is, and there's not much you can do about that. But yeah, I was a bit skeptic on doing video here, because usually when you come here there's just people everywhere. But we've gotten pretty lucky today. They've changed their opening times, and we were like one of the first people here. So anybody in the garden has gone a long way around and followed the map, and we've just come straight to the spots that I know are good. So yeah, I've been able to do all this video in here for you. But the other thing I was going to say about continuing to come back to gardens like this, they are private gardens, and Australia is an evergreen country, so gardens like this are few and far between. And the ones like this that do open them up to the public, they obviously open them up and run them as a business, and the more people that are coming, the more worth it to these guys it is to open their gates. At the end of the day, they're opening their gates to let us in onto their property, and you know, that's pretty cool. So the more we can support things like that and whatnot, you see the pages for these places and just share it, don't gatekeep it. I'm not here to gatekeep this place, and I'd love for as many people as possible to come down here and enjoy it. It's a stunning place, and you know, built by settlers back in the day. You can see all the effort that's been put in with all the rock work and the steps and the brick walls and things when you come through the place. So yeah, it's worth paying the dollar and coming up here and enjoying it. Anyway, we'll press on, and I'll see if I can find anything else in here before we jet out. What I will do though, guys, I might put up a few extra photos at the end of the video, just before the video closes, of other shots that I've taken up here over the years, just to give you a look at the difference between what you see one year and what you don't see another year, and the colours and the opportunities. So I have had some very successful times up here, so I'll chuck a few of them photos into the end of the video. Definitely let me know what you think of them, and I hope you enjoy them as much as I did getting up and into the gardens. But yeah, anyway, we'll press on. Alrighty, so we're just coming up through the back of the garden, and last time I was here I noticed these purple flowers. I don't know anything about them, but it's cold and they're flowering, so that's that. But the thing is they put in this new feature here a little while back, and I noticed the yellow deciduous tree behind the feature and the purple flowers here in the foreground. But to do the shot, I've had to do a focus stack because it's a bit hard to show you now, but I've had to bring the camera down really low to the ground, so these purple flowers are really emphasized in the image, and they take up a good portion of the foreground. And then you have the feature in the midground and the yellow deciduous tree in the background. So I focused 2 stages here in the purple flowers, one on the feature and one on the yellow tree in the background. I'll blend all them together in Photoshop. Now I did notice that over here the cluster of yellow flowers is they're greater, but because I was down so low, whatever was missing in this foreground here was an illusion by what's in the midground, because I was down so low. So you don't see the missing flowers in the foreground, you just see flowers all the way through. If I did come over here, it's a very central framed image. So you have a bit of an arch here in the flowers, and this is in the center, and the deciduous tree is in the center in the background too. So yeah, I couldn't get over to where the purple flowers were more of an abundance. To be honest though, without sounding like a bloody idiot, some of these features, they're very, like, you look at a lot of them and go, no, I'm not photographing that. And that's mostly because, like, you don't want to take just a shot of the statue as a subject without trying to tell a story with it. It just seems more of a snapshot. And I definitely feel like I've come far enough in my photography journey to not just be taking random snapshots like that, so to speak. Even though some shots that I take are snapshots, well, they're all a snapshot really. But these days there seems to be a lot more thought, bigger thought process that goes into it. And you see things a little bit differently as the years go by. So that's basically what I seen when I was coming through here. And, you know, I just sort of looked at it and went, you know what, let's do this. But I had to get the camera down low, so that meant taking the center column out of the tripod, turning it upside down and feeding it back through so I could get the camera right down to the ground. And I couldn't just hand hold the shot because I had to focus stack through the image. Anyhow, here's the shot. Let me know what you think of it. Alright guys, so we're out of the private gardens now, and we're making our way over into one of my famous secret little, well, rainforest area. Where we are here doesn't look like it, but in there it is. But we're just coming up the roadside, and I'm not in here to really shoot forest photography today. If I see something, I'll probably go to the effort to get it, but I'm in here foraging for mushrooms today. So we were just coming down the road and I pointed out a couple of mushrooms over here, but they were up high, and then like 2 feet later Debbie goes, "Oh look, down there." So I'll give you a look at what I'm shooting. Alright guys, so we plodded along through the forest there, and I found a few other clusters of mushrooms that I was able to photograph. A bit of a mistake on my part, but I need to take the GoPro in to be able to take you close up to the mushrooms to show you what I'm shooting. That's something I'll learn on from this time, and next time I'll make sure I have that GoPro on me. But yeah, we got a couple there. Macro mushroom photography, fungi photography, sort of new to me. I'll probably adapt it into what I do whenever, you know, I see them. They're sort of one of them things that some of them are really cool. So anyway, I'll load those photos in. One thing I will say is that when you're shooting with a macro lens, your depth of field is very shallow. So even if the flower on the mushroom is right behind the flower on the, or even sometimes right next to it, you just have to focus stack the whole thing, eh? Like there was one cluster of mushrooms there that I'll put up in the video, and well, there must have been a dozen mushrooms, and I literally had to go through and focus on every single mushroom in the whole scene, and take a photo for that. So yeah, if you're not familiar with focus stacking, it's not that hard. When you're in Photoshop, you align all your layers and then you stack them. But maybe I'll do a video on focus stacking another time and take you through an educational thing with that. Anyhow, hang in there. After the mushrooms that I just photographed in here now, I'll drop a few extra photos in from the private gardens from the year before, and yeah, check them all out. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and be good or good at it, and I shall see you in the next video.
You're